Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a brand new art journaling tutorial for beginners, how to start a new page on your art journal. This is formula number 3. I've already done 2 other videos where I did different formulas with the exact same products like you see here. I use gesso, I use modeling paste, and I use soft matte gel to create an art journal page. And what I'm focusing in, and I used also sprays, which is like the color bloom sprays. I'm trying to use the exact same products but in a different way. So each video is focusing on a different formula, meaning that I'm putting the products in a different order. And I was going to create the same introduction for all 5 of them, but I decided that I'm going to have an introduction for each one. So this is formula number 3, and I'm going to talk about the order in which I'm putting the products in. I just want to talk a little bit about which ones I'm going to use. I'm going to use basically art basic products from Prima and color bloom sprays. I'm also going to use my Joggles disc bound watercolor art journal. I've already done 2 other pages in this. Was the first formula which I created, and I used blues, yellows, and greens. And in this one I used first the gesso, then the modeling paste, then the sprays, and finally the gel. For my second formula, I went with bolder, bright colors, and I started with modeling paste first, then gesso, then spray, and finally soft matte gel. Today's formula, it's a little bit different, and I'm going to talk about that as well. The way I'm doing this formula today, and this is why I want to talk about how important it is to play around and experiment with things, because different formulas will get you different results, but at the same time they might be very, very similar to other things. So you can combine these in any different way as long as you know what to use them for. So today's formula focuses on something else and how to collage a little bit. It's going to start first with the soft matte gel, then the gesso, then I'm going to spray a little bit, and finally I'm going to use the modeling paste at the end. So it's a different combination. You'll see why I'm going to do that combination first and the reason why I'm doing it. So I'm going to explain everything and how you can do this. And you have to understand that there is millions and millions of combinations you can do with these. Well, maybe not millions, but lots of them. I'm only doing 5 videos with 5 different combinations, but I could be doing 10 videos and combining them all together because there's always so many combinations you can use. And if you start adding different products that are not from the art basics, so that are a little bit more advanced, then you'll even get more combinations. This is why no 2 projects look the same, and so many projects and so many art journals look so beautiful. And it's really important to have an art journal that you love, that you want to create with. This art journal specifically is really thick paper. It's a thick watercolor paper, so it's great. But you can use an old book and art journal on that if you don't want to spend the money on buying it, or basically any type of art journal works. The reason why I like this one is because you can actually remove the pages way easy, and you can and then you can work with that being stuck inside a journal. So I really love this because it's not only easy to remove, but it's also easy to actually put back as well, which I will show you at the end. So today's journal is going to focus on that formula, which I'm going to explain why. And it's really important for you to go ahead and experiment and have fun. I really want you to have fun and experiment and enjoy the journey and the process. Don't get hung up on mistakes. I always say the same thing. Mistakes are just new opportunities to create something new and to learn. If you make a mistake, you learn and you know not to do that next time. This is why you do art journaling, not only to learn and to experiment, but one of the things I love about art journaling is that it helps you release that art need and that also my emotions, and lets me express myself in something that is just for me, that I'm not going to be giving to anybody, selling to anybody. This is just for me, that I can look at it and know how I felt at the time that I created it. So I'm going to start with formula number 3. So, and don't mind, look at my nails broke, but that's besides the point. And I haven't had time to go and get it done because you know what, I'm really afraid to get this nail done because it ripped kind of on my skin, and I worry that the acetone will actually burn it. So I'm not doing actually 2 nails broke. So they look like kind of like short fingered, but it's okay. It's all good. It's part of the journey. When you're doing mixed media, you're going to have to deal with like short nails and stained hands, and I love being stained, so all good. If you don't like that, please put gloves on. Blah blah blah, I'm talking, but I'm actually just going to get started. So formula number 3. So as I said, for this first technique, for this formula, I mean to say, the first thing I'm going to use is the gel. And now the gel is a very smooth glue-like texture that you don't want to use unless it's for a specific purpose. I wouldn't be just putting gel all over my background because it's going to make such a smooth surface that when I start spraying things, it will actually not work. It will kind of remove itself because it's such a smooth surface, almost like a glossy surface. Although this is technically a matte gel, it's still like glue, and glue is very smooth. So the reason to use soft gel first, gel, which is the same as matte medium, like Tim Holtz matte medium, it's the same thing. This is a soft, when I mean by soft, it's because it's very smooth and it's a little bit more liquidy than those harder gels that are more for gluing heavy stuff. This is basically used just for paper, and especially it's great for art journaling. So I'm going to use this one, and the reason why I'm putting it first is because I want to glue something to the background. I actually want to glue some tissue paper, and I have some script tissue paper here, and it could be any type of tissue paper. Don't hang up on which tissue. You can save tissue papers when you go to a store and you get clothes wrapped up in tissue, and really beautiful tissue. I've saved that before, and it's a great way to save it. So if you buy yourself stuff or if you order online. But this one I bought, this is the French script. This is, I think, Canvas Corp, and I'll try to link everything below as well. I'll have all the links of everything I used today, and if not, I'll try to give you equivalents to that. You could also take plain tissue paper and stamp it all over and then glue it, so it's not a problem. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, you could glue this fully, but I'm going to rip it and just glue it in some places. So it's almost like decoupage or collaging. And I just want to glue it in certain places. So that's why I'm doing the gel first, because I need to glue something. The only time you would be using gel first is when you're trying to glue something at the beginning so it can be in the background. Sorry, I shouldn't say the only time. I have used gel first for other techniques, but I just mean that for this type of art journaling and for the basic techniques, you do want to use gel first if you're using it to glue stuff. And doesn't matter if it have wrinkles. No, it doesn't matter if it has wrinkles, but if you want it perfect, then just go ahead and be careful when you apply it. So all you do is apply some gel in the back of the paper, the art journal paper, and then you add the paper, the tissue paper, and then all you have to do is just basically seal it. So you seal it on top, and that way it will never move. And as I said, if it gets some wrinkles, that's the beauty of it. It gives you more texture for your art journal. So I love that. And it's nice to combine different tissue papers. I didn't take any with me. I just chose this one. I'm trying to be very simple with what I use. So that's why I don't want to complicate things too much, because I want things to kind of work for everyone and for people to have access. But I will also link maybe the Tim Holtz tissue paper. Those are really pretty and they have really nice things with them. Maybe I will bring that so you can see what I mean. I'll bring some of the Tim Holtz tissue paper. Hold on. So besides the Tim Holtz tissue paper, and it comes in a box like this, okay? And it has like different designs on it, which I'll show you in a minute. The other thing you can use is also napkins. Look at these napkins that I got at the dollar store. How cool are those? And they have really neat designs. So any type of basically texture would work. It's almost like decoupaging in a way. So I'm going to show you, for example, you see how this looks like a postcard? I could like glue this on the other side. So you could use different types of tissue. It doesn't really matter because you're going to color everything on top after if you as well. And even if you don't color it, it still will look really, really good. So there is another piece of tissue paper. I love this one from Tim Holtz. And then there's also this one. This one has beautiful butterflies on it. So maybe I will see if I can, oh, maybe I'm lucky enough to get, oh, I have like half a butterfly. So where should I put this one? Maybe I'll put the half butterfly here. even though it's covering this. Hold on. Maybe I'll put the half butterfly here. So yeah, maybe I put the script, but it doesn't really matter. You can layer things. That's the beauty of it. And it already has some tissue underneath already. I mean, some glue underneath already, so it doesn't really matter. You can just put some of the tissue on top. And yeah, that's the beauty of decoupaging, or of collaging for that matter. I just love how it looks. It looks really, really nice. So, oh yeah, this goes this way. Oops. So the nice thing about these is that they're very thin, so they're really easy to just apply to the background. And you don't have to cover everything if you don't want to. You can just cover some of it partially, and the rest will just be white. It's up to you. You have the choice of whether or not you want to cover everything or not. So that's the beauty of it. And then all you have to do is just let this dry. So you can heat set it, and as I mentioned in the other videos, I don't know if you've been watching these in order or not, but if you haven't been watching them in order and you starting here, then go back. I will list all the other videos underneath, so you can go ahead and watch these, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But I use a heat tool from Ranger to seal everything here, to actually seal all the tissue paper, not to seal, sorry, to dry all the mediums onto the background. Because you really need to dry everything up. You can't have stuff wet, because then it will interact with other things. So you really want to have things dry enough that they don't interact with each other, because they all are water soluble. These are all, sorry, not water soluble, water based. Sorry, you know what it is? I'm thinking and talking at the same time. Sometimes I can't do that. I don't know why. I think that's a higher functioning thing that I can't complete somehow. Okay, so there you go. You see, I didn't do it everywhere. I just want to just have some areas that are completely white, especially I guess in the edges. It's harder to fill the edges, but you could if you want to. And once you seal everything, as I said, then you heat set it, and I'll show you my tool. It looks like this. And also it's also like, if you can see my mat underneath, this is a really great mat. It's a heat resist mat from Ken Oliver, and I really love it because what it does, it's a cling mat, so things don't move, and they don't move out of place, which is really, really nice. Anyways, I'm going to heat set this, not on camera, and I'll come back to add the next layer. Okay, so now this is fully dry. It was been a couple of hours, only because I had to pick up my kids from school, so that's why I let it dry. But it only takes technically only like 5-10 minutes to dry, especially if you heat set it, it's even faster. So the paper is fully dry and everything is good with it. The only thing is that the formula that I'm doing today, it requires that you want to put spray on this, right? And in order for me to put spray on a smooth surface, because the gel gives you a very smooth surface, the gel might just run off it, like it will really run off it, and I'll show you what I mean. For example, if I spray a little bit here, it kind of pools instead of actually spreading because it's such a smooth surface. And all I do, it's kind of like almost like having wax on it, but it's not. And it resists it. So then I pick it up and it's gone, basically. It just leaves a little bit. Maybe there was no gel there that much, but it basically removes it. So in order to avoid that and be able to have that grip onto the background, you need to put gesso. And this is the part when I said that I wanted to use clear gesso. There's two options here. You could use white gesso and cover up some of the areas, but I really wanted to use clear gesso because I want all this beautiful texture to show up. And this is why I want to use clear gesso for this formula. But you can definitely, as I said, use white. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this. Actually, not with this. I want to use a paintbrush instead. So I just want to add the clear gesso everywhere. And the nice thing about the clear gesso, it's actually going to dry clear, of course. So that means that all this beautiful texture is going to show. And it still has the same property of gesso, which gives it that really nice grit or tooth that you can add anything on top of it, like sprays or anything else. So the nice thing is that you could use the clear gesso on any type of project that you don't want to cover the background. So for example, if you do scrapbooking or card making and you want to have sprays on top of nice paper, but you want the paper to show underneath, then you use clear gesso. So anytime you want to show something underneath, you use clear gesso. If you want to cover it, so for example, I'll just use a little bit of white gesso to show you what I mean. So for example, if you take the white gesso and you add it in certain areas, it will actually cover. You see how it covers that? So you can hide some of the areas, let's say, that you don't like, for example. So I could add a little bit of white gesso here, and the clear one will dry clear, and the gesso, white gesso, will actually hide that. So just to show you the difference between the two, I'm going to add a little bit of white gesso. I mean, this is an extra little tip. It's not technically part of the formula that I was talking about, but it's still gesso, so it doesn't really matter which one it is. And if you want to, let's say, hide those like lines, those broken lines, all you have to do is do that. So part of it will be white and part of it will show. Another thing you can do with white gesso is actually dilute it with water. So you could use a little bit of white gesso here on the side, add a little bit of water, and then give the whole background a whitewash. And it will actually lighten up everything. It will make it like more blended. Like, I mean, it will blend it more into the background. So there's a few tips all at once. I know you can't really tell what I'm doing because all of it looks the same, but when I dry, you will notice the difference between the clear gesso and the white gesso. So I'm going to dry this now really, really well before I add the next step. So now that it's fully dry, you can actually see the differences. So here, you see how the white gesso kind of covered it. And then you have it over here where there's kind of like a whitewash a little bit, but also the clear gesso didn't show. The clear gesso is over here, and you can see it fully. You can see the writing fully. Well, here in the white areas, that means that it got covered. The same thing on here. White got covered on the edges, but the clear stayed inside. So if you're deciding which gesso to buy, because for mixed media, gesso is the most important one. Literally, it's like the 101 of any type of mixed media project. So if you do things like card making, scrapbooking, or art journaling, then you can get away with basically the clear gesso. Buy yourself a clear gesso. But if you're doing anything that it covers things, or even art journaling itself, but even covering or kind of that collage mixed media, you might want to get yourself something like the heavy white gesso over the heavy black gesso, so it really covers embellishments if you want to hide them. So that's basically what you want to do. So depending on which one you want to use. So that's how it goes. Now I'm ready that it's all dry. I'm ready for the next step. And the next step in this formula is to add the sprays first. However, you could definitely add modeling paste first, and that is a secretly, hint, another formula. But in this case, I really wanted to add the sprays first. I'll explain to you why, but first I want to just spray it all around. I chose two colors that I really love, which I love the combination of blue and purple. It looks so, so pretty together. So this is called Sugar Plum, and this is the same Dragonfly blue I used the other day. And I'm just going to spray it all around. And because I have the gesso there, it will actually be able to take and absorb that really nice spray, and it can go everywhere. And the reason why I'm putting the spray first is because I want that color to be in the background while I want the nice modeling paste, the stenciled part with the modeling paste that I've been using, to be on top and really show that design. So I am going to start spraying, and you know me, I start spraying first, and then after that I start like using my paintbrush to spread it around. So this is just spreading it around. As you can see, it's going everywhere, but because it doesn't have that nice design from the modeling paste and from the stencil, basically all I'm doing is just adding color to the background. And I love smooshing it around. I'm going to create some kind, I really don't have any science to what I'm doing in this. It's just basically moving things. And if you have too much, you can basically spread it onto the other into the other page. And I like the wrinkles are really nice. Those are wrinkles from the actual paper. So that's really nice to see. And it doesn't really matter how you spray this. I don't need to start, let's say, from the edge, only because I don't really have a design there. I don't have any type of stencil design. I'm just cleaning up. I'm spraying everywhere. It kind of gets everywhere, the spray. If you don't like that, because I have a mat, so I just clean it after. But if you don't like that the spray gets everywhere, get yourself a box and spray inside the box. I'm kind of don't care about that, but some people are very adamant that they don't want spray everywhere, so you can do that as well. So I'm going to spread this around a little bit more. And I almost want to paint it. I really like the painting part of it. So I'm going to take a little paintbrush. Where is that one that I used for the other day? And I'm just going to paint. You can actually paint with this, which is really nice. So that's another way you can do it. You could use these as paints. So that's really nice in the sense of you could cover the whole background that way. And basically what I'm doing is I'm putting the sprays first because I want to add color to the background. Now you could do this with ink. You could do this with any type of coloring, crayons, whatever you want. I mean, it's limitless. Like, I can't even give you all the ideas that exist because there's so many of them. But I just like this. You see, it's just giving it a nice, like, the background. And it actually, the background is purple, although I don't know why in the thing it looks blue, but it's actually more purple than blues. One side is, this side is blue, but this side, if you look at it where I'm sitting from, it's actually purple. I'm not sure why it looks blue in the computer, in the video. Oh, I like that. So this is another way you can do it, and to spread it. And you see how it's pooling over here? That's okay. It will dry up and it will look really nice. Or you could just use that paint and move it around and use it like this. I like that. So I'm going to add a little bit more purple on this side. Everything looks the same, but trust me, it is purple. And then I'm going to add a little bit of blue on this side. And you see what I mean? You'll see what I mean in a second, where I'm going to add the stenciled stuff at the end. So this looks like a big hot mess, and I know that, and that's okay. And not everything will look perfect, but that's okay as well. And I mean, I'm kind of go with the flow, and I don't always know what's going to happen, but I just like experimenting, as I said. So this is kind of an experiment for me as well, because I usually put the stenciled stuff first. So we'll see what happens. This is all an experiment for me, and it's going to look kind of pooled in the center, which I really, really like. So let me dry this up really well, and this might take a few minutes. So, I mean, it might not seem anything for you because it's going to be right after, because I'm going to stop the camera. But I'm going to dry it, and I'll come back for it. I just want to show you what I'm doing while I'm drying. I'm lifting it up, and I'm actually moving it around to kind of getting it all around and moving everything. So just to get a really cool design out of it. You could use even a straw to push the ink around, but I'm just basically moving it in all directions to see what it comes out. I just like experimenting, as I said, and I'm going to show you the same thing in this one. Plus, if it doesn't pull as much, it will be easier to dry. And you could let this like also spray around here. I could do the same thing on this side. This looks really cool, actually. So these designs are just drips. I love making drips, so there you go. Now I'm just going to dry it, and off screen again, so just to make sure that you know that I'm not skipping any steps. So I'm fully dried. I think it is a little bit sticky still, and some places in the world take longer for these to dry because they have this fixative in them that make them permanent, but also a little bit sticky, especially over gesso. But eventually they're fully dry. I mean, my hands are not sticking to this. And this now is a step to add the modeling paste with the stencil, which I love doing. And I picked a brand new stencil from the Crafters Workshop. This is Designs by Marlene, I think. It's really, really pretty. And it's called Botanical Dream. How cool is this? So I really got excited to be able to use this. So I'm going to open this up. And I like these 6x6 stencils because they fit perfectly with this this journal. This is also a 6x6. So originally I thought I was going to cover the whole thing, but now I am thinking I like these drips, so I'm thinking maybe I should just cover some of it and let like maybe just like the flowers like this, and the rest just I kind of look at it may look like there's drips coming along, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense at all? I mean, this is exactly 6x, I mean, it's a little bit bigger than 6x6, or maybe it's just a stencil total is 6x6, but the design is a little bit smaller. Also, if it warps up, all you have to do is just basically flatten it up. It's really easy. You could also use stencils with the sprays. You don't have to use them with modeling paste, but for these purposes I am doing it with the modeling paste. I don't like doing sprays with stencils. I find that I like crisp images, and I find that with the stencils they become very messy and I don't like it, and they run underneath the stencil and that drives me nuts. Okay, so I'm going to add this. Oh, and as I said, you know what, maybe I'll leave it like this, but I won't cover all of it. No, I'm trying to think how to make it so it will be centered. I guess I can. Okay, hold on. I'll start it like this. I don't want the full thing. I want some of it to be off. Okay, so as I said in the other videos, in order to add a modeling paste, you need to add a little bit at a time. It's much easier and it doesn't run underneath the stencil. You could put a little bit of tape if you want to hold it. I just use my hand, and that's okay. The reason why I wanted to add the modeling paste at the end, it's because I really wanted this design to show. And expect the modeling paste, because it's water-based, expect it to actually react a little bit with the paint, and that is okay. Not with the paint, with the sprays, and that's okay. But most of it will show in the sense of it will look white, which I really wanted to have for this. If you don't want it to mix, if you don't want the modeling paste to mix with the spray, you need to put some kind of protection. So you could spray it with some kind of fixative. So for example, even something like hairspray would work, or the Krylon one that they sell in different places. It's a Krylon fixative. But I don't care if it mixes a little bit. It looks nice like that. It kind of blends it, and that looks really, really nice. So I'm just, as I see, I'm trying to be careful and just adding it here. I don't want to get to this other flower. And as you can see, I keep on like putting it back and forth into the tub to get some more. I don't want to have too much on because then it's hard to control it. So I'm putting it on this side, and then I'm going to add it on the other side. So I'm trying to think, maybe I'll just, I don't know, I think I'm going to end up covering a lot of it, but that's okay. Okay. I want to smooth it out. And what's nice is that the background is going to be in color. So that's why I wanted to put this at the end. And if you don't want to taint your pot the way I'm doing, because it's becoming a little bit blue inside of there, so just go ahead and put some of the modeling paste on the side here on your mat, or basically or basically anywhere, or in a little pot or something like that, and that would work just as well. Ooh, I love that. How pretty is that? So because I'm missing these edges over here, I could go and just move this along a little bit and create more, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make those edges darker after when I'm done. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Oops, I just realized that I need to clean this up first. So sorry, before I do this, I'm going to clean this stencil because it's so mucked up. If you can see, a lot of the paint kind of lifted up. So I'm going to clean this and then come back and do the other side. So don't mind me, and this is what I do when I clean stencils. I just first scrape it off with my tool, and I'm going to reuse this. Don't think I'm wasting it. I just want to reuse this. Okay, so I just scrape it off with, usually a silicone breath is the best thing for it, because that way it's very soft and you can use it for, and it doesn't damage your stencils. And I'm still going to use this as well. So you see, I just kind of pack it all up, and I'm going to use this on this side because I can use this for the other side of other stenciling. And then I just take a baby wipe. Sometimes I go into the washroom and just wash it, but today I'm just going to go like this and clean it. Always have baby wipes handy, as I said. And if you want, you can also use, let's say you have another art journal page handy, you could create a new print with it. I mean, right now I'm wasting and I'm cleaning, but you could use this on another blank page and go ahead and make another print with it. So just saying, you could do so many things with it. And I know I'm showing this, I shouldn't be showing how to clean, but I want to give you some tips on how to clean stencils as well. You could also go watch my I have a video specifically on how to clean stencils, but not like this. Stencils that have been so gunked up that you have so much paint and stuff on them that you can't remove it. That's the video I have on my channel, so just go and look that up. You can find it in, just go down the list of videos, basically. That's what I mean. Okay, so now it's pretty much cleaned. I'm going to put this on the other side. This is part of before. And hold on. Is this how I had it? Oops. Uh-oh. I just got this inside and it ruined the stenciled area a little bit. Oh well, what can I do? Okay, so I did, I can turn it around and make a different design a different way. It doesn't have to be like this. There we go. I think if we do it like this, it will look a little bit different. So you could turn the stencil around. It will look similar. And there we go. I mean, it's a little bit blue. It's like a light blue, and that's okay. And I'll take some more from inside, but I didn't want to waste this paste. I hate wasting. I try my best not to waste, but sometimes you have to. You don't have a choice about it because some things get mucked up and they don't look good. Okay, so not sure I wanted it so blue, so I guess it really mixed up with it. I should have maybe hairsprayed it before. So if you don't want this to happen, as I said, use some fixative. It will fix the spray, and then you won't have this problem that I just had. But you know me, I go with the flow. It's just fun to do different formulas, as I said, and go ahead and basically add the spray, and then you won't have this. You will get like a white crisp image, which is what I specifically wanted. I guess I didn't get such a white crisp image, and that's okay as well. And that's okay as well. Okay, so I think I want to this little flower here as well. And if you're not confident with stencils and you have a hard time like holding them like this, I've been doing this for many years. I have so many stencils. I've been collecting them. I do suggest that you put some tape. You can tape it to the background and then it will hold it in place. Start collecting stencils if you love working with stencils. It's just really, really fun to do. Ooh, that looks so cool. It looks like a magical garden. I really, really love it. I am going to dry this up. Clean again my stencil because it's all mucked up. And again, what I meant by that, I want to show you what I mean actually. Since I have an extra piece of journal that I made a mistake on and last time, you could, look at this, you could press this here. And let me just show you what I mean. So let me put this aside. This is an extra little tip from me to you. I have so much of it here that I could just go ahead and create a whole new layer of stenciled pattern, and you don't waste anything. You could use this next time for another type of art journal. And there you go. Here, I'll lift it up and you'll see what I mean. It will look really, really cool. And it will be distressed. It won't look exactly like how you, but it looks really nice. You see what I mean? So you don't waste it. Look, I didn't waste this. I think I even have enough for another one, but I'm just going to give it up now because I just want to clean it all up and start and work on this one. So let me dry this up, clean it up, clean my desk, and get going with the last step. Okay, so basically all the steps are done except for the last thing, which is to add a sentiment and also to add some kind of focus point. But before doing that, I really want to kind of, not part of the steps, I mean not part of this formula, but I want to add a little bit more color. And the reason why I say this, you'll understand what I mean in a second. I want to add some more of this blue only at the edges of my layout. And the reason why is because I want to kind of frame it. I feel that it's not framed enough. In the other formulas, I tended to put the ink at the edges, so it kind of created that nice border. But in this case, I sprayed everywhere, so it didn't really happen. So I want to just add a little bit of that blue just at the edges. And actually, I might add also some purple because I see some purple here. It's a really good idea to kind of frame things. It helps the eye to kind of center towards the center of the layout. So if you notice here, I'm trying to make this that it doesn't look like I just put a line there. So you want to play a little bit that it doesn't look like you just put a line in the middle, because that will look odd. You want to make it as if it's part of the design. So to do that, you kind of have to shake the paintbrush a little bit, and that makes it look as if it's part of it. Okay, and I don't mind if it goes a little bit down. I'm going to add this also on this side, and this side it's a little bit more purplish, so I'm going to add more purple there. So this is an unnecessary step. You don't really need to do that part. I just like doing this because it helps to frame everything, but I did love it the way it was before, so it's not a necessary step per se. It's just something that I like doing. I like having it framed. You don't need to add anything here in the middle, and it has those really cool drips everywhere, so you don't need to do that. It's just a matter of adding that nice dark area at the edges. And once I dry it, it will look a little bit different. Let me add the purple as well. I'm going to wash my paintbrush and I want to open the purple one. And these are quite dark. There's some of the colors of the Color Bloom sprays that are a little bit lighter, but this one is quite, these two are quite dark. There is actually lighter purple, a lighter purple and a lighter blue. I don't remember what they're called. I mean, the blue is called Fairy Pond, but I can't remember what the lighter purple is. So I want to just kind of add a little bit of it in here and a little bit in here. I might even just lift it up a little bit to let this drip so it doesn't look so obvious that I did that. There we go, just a little bit of that drip. That's good. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm going to dry. And I'm going to find this nice sentiment to go with this, and also a nice focal point. I mean, I could leave it like this, but I really like adding some kind of focal point. I've been adding butterflies in the other ones, and we'll see. Maybe I'll continue with the butterfly theme as this is a garden, but I haven't decided yet. We're going to find out. I'm going to see what I have in my ephemera package from Tim Holtz. So I'm going to dry this well as well, and then I'll get back to you guys in a second. So this is basically almost fully dry. I'm just going to stick the embellishments on it. I just want to talk about my mat again. I'm really excited about it. I've had it for about a year. It's a really good mat. Look how clean it basically cleans everything. I've used this for years and years and it doesn't scratch. Nothing happens to it. I mean, if I didn't, you see dirt here, it's because I haven't cleaned it, but it actually cleans off anything and it's really, really great. If you have any of the other ones, I don't know, you notice after a while you basically cannot clean them. They stain and like the gunk stays on, but this one really everything comes off it, which I really, really like. So I just pointed out again because I'm linking that, and I also know that a lot of people look for something like this and they can't find it. And this Ken Oliver mat, this is a really, really large one. It actually takes the whole space of my whole desk, an IKEA desk. Almost everything gets covered, which is nice. Anyways, to do the embellishments, I am going to go with butterflies, but I'm not going to be using the same ephemera die cuts that I used before. I'm actually going to use these old butterflies from Prima. They're actually they're made out of kind of vellum, and I'm not sure if they're still available or not, but you can grab anything. It doesn't really matter what you use for this. I just want to show you how cute these are, and they come in a box with different colors, but I just wanted to basically add them to my layout. Yay, I like that. So all I do now is just grab a little bit of gel, and I mean these are a little bit 3D, so they're probably going to flatten out once I close the journal, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter to me. Let it flatten out a little bit. It's still, when you open it up, they'll kind of pop up. So in this case, I will just glue them to the background. I am not going to seal these. I'm just going to glue them to the background. And then I'm just going to basically glue the bottom part of it. Oh, I put too much glue. Look how much came out of that. I'm going to use some of it for this one. So the bottom one will be stuck on, and the rest is going to be basically it's kind of flying out. So I like that, sort of like that. If you want, I could seal these as well, I guess, because so they stay put. And you could color these. These are like basically colorless. They're vellum color, but you could color them if you really want to. I hope they're still available. I will try to link them. If not, then just use any type of butterfly. I just couldn't find the right color in that ephemera pack. I wanted something kind of bluish, purplish, or white, but nothing really matched up properly. So let me see. I want this butterfly to go this way. And oh, it's so cute. Maybe I'll flatten it a little bit. Okay, so that's basically the 3 butterflies. How cute is that? I really like that. And you can see the framed area here. I don't know if you notice. Kind of looks like it drips all around. For the last step, I went ahead and I stuck some stickers for the sentiment. I grabbed them out of these. These are old stickers from Prima Marketing. I have like lots of different kinds, and they are like double-sided. And I just stuck them. I didn't show you how I'm sticking these on because it's just a waste of time for you to see how I stick them on. And they're not actually all the same size, which is nice for art journaling. And then all I'm doing is just want to seal them with the gel. I'm going to add a little bit of glue, which is the gel medium, the matte gel medium, and just seal these because I don't want them to come off. Stickers tend to kind of have a mind of their own and tend to come out, so I don't want that to happen. In retrospect, I wish I would have added a little bit of black onto it. I mean, I can still do that. I wish I would have added a little bit of black onto the background, but I could do that on the edges, but right now it's maybe too late. I don't want to mess around with it because I really like how it looks. So I'm going to close this. Then all I'm going to do is just stick it into my journal, basically, as same I did with the others. It's really easy to just stick everything back in. So all you have to do, and I might put it over here, just because then the pages will match better. Hold on, let me move everything so you can see. So all I do is just click it all in, And since it's paper, it bends, and it's just easy to put back in. I really like this journal so much. Okay, and then the same thing with the other side. I still have to let this dry a little bit because I don't want it to get stuck together. But that's it. And I mean, if you really don't want the wings to, I might want to just stick these better. I might add a little bit of gel in the wings. I know they're like nicer when they go like on this, like when they're open, but I worry that they will get crinkled once I have it all opened up. So you saw how pretty it looks, but I think I'm going to just add a little bit of this just to let them stick to the background. They're still really pretty, even because they're vellum. They kind of are a bit see-through. Oh, and I forgot to mention something, and that's, not sure if you noticed, that you can't really see the writing. You can see a little bit of the writing that I had originally added in the background with the gel. You can see a little bit of that, but not much. If you really want to see a lot more of that, you could grab a wipe and just wipe off some of the stuff. And that kind of brings, you see there, you can see that writing. So if you really want that, you could do that, but you don't have to, because it looks kind of weird. It kind of resists it a little bit. But actually, no, actually it's not bad. So in some areas, it would be nice to just reveal some of that writing. You see, you can see it here, you can see it here. So if you really want to, you could reveal some of that writing. And if you don't like the reveal, because it looks weird like that, you see how it's kind of resists it, you can go ahead and add a little bit more blue. So I'll just add a little bit more blue and kind of hide it all. So if you don't like it, you can hide it back in. So it's just a matter of going back and forth with things. So you could show it, or you could actually let it be covered. It's up to you. You do see hints of it in different places, and that's really nice because you see kind of like that texture, almost like a stamped texture, and that's really good. You could also stamp a background and then do all this other stuff as well. So there's lots of things that you can do with this. It's just a matter of what formula and what you like to create. That's why I say you should experiment, because then you're going to learn what you love the most, and that's what's going to be your favorite thing to do and your favorite formula, and you'll go with that. So I just wanted to thank everyone for coming and watching my videos. This is my third formula, and if you want to see the first two, they're linked below in the description area, as well as all the products that I used today. If you have any questions, always feel free to email me. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on social media. And if you create something that inspires you with this video, please show it to me. I would love to see it. I would love to see it in person, not in person, but you know what I mean, on the internet. You can send it to me by email if you don't want to show it in public, or on Facebook Messenger. And thank you so much. And if you like my video, also please subscribe to my channel, and also tell your friends about my channel. That helps me create more videos. The more people that interact and watch my videos, then the more free videos I can create. Thank you so much, and have an amazing day. Bye.